Yo, what's up, Waddle Army? Welcome to our new tier list video. It's been a while since I've done the last one, and we know a lot more about the meta and what vehicles are good and which ones are not. And again, your combo can matter a lot more than your vehicle and your character individually, but at the end of the day, some vehicles are better than others. And we'll just go from the bottom up, I guess. And this is going to be kind of a hot take to some people, but honestly, I think the Chariot has to be the worst vehicle in the game. This thing is just too slow on the ground. It gets outclassed by the wheelie scooter, like, completely, because the scooter is just better at handling. It has higher top speed. It doesn't get as much off a boost charge, but when it comes to everything else, the wheelie scooter is just what you should be picking over the Chariot. Like, it's lighter, even. There's just no reason to pick the Chariot over other vehicles in the game, unfortunately. I think it's a really cool vehicle, but it's just not very good. So, that is why I think the Chariot is the worst in the game. Yeah, we're going from the bottom up this time. Last time we went from the top down. So we'll keep looking along here. I think the Chariot might be the only F tier vehicle in the game, to be honest. Um, yeah, a lot of these have like unique quirks that like give him like some situational advantage. But right above the Chariot, we're going to have the Battle Chariot. It's slightly better twin brother, but at the end of the day, again, it's going to be a situation where why would I play in a Battle Chariot when I have the Rex Wheelie, which can turn better, boost better, just basically do everything the Battle Chariot can do, but better. But the Battle Chariot does have a few things going for it. It has a massive hitbox. It's really heavy. It's really fast, but it just kind of falls off when it comes to like boosting and handling. And unless you have like a really specific combo that works well with it, it's just not going to compete on the same level as other vehicles, unfortunately. Um, Going along with D tier here, we are going to have the Shadow Star and the Paper Star. I think these vehicles are very similar. Shadow's probably a bit worse than Paper. Uh, the problem with the Shadow Star is it's basically just watered down Jet Star. There's pretty much no reason to use the Shadow Star when you can pick Jet. Fly faster, boost faster, just be faster on the Jet Star. And then when you're on the Paper Star, it's the same thing. It's like Paper Star is just a bad Wing Star. You're not going fast enough in the air, and you're just not going to be able to keep up with the rest of the lobby who is all on star trails beneath you while you are struggling to keep up even in the air because you're only going like a bit above 30 miles per hour in the air. It's not enough to like keep you up with the pack, but it has good control. Thing you will be noticing with a lot of these low tier vehicles is they just lack the speed to win a race, which sucks. But it just is what it is. Um, we're gonna look down here, see if there's anyone else we want to put on D tier. I think the Turbo Star is gonna have to round out D tier, and I think Paper is a little better than Turbo. Turbo, it's like the same thing. It's just bad Warp Star. There's no reason to use Turbo over Warp, or even Hop. Hop is just better than Turbo. Like, Warp and Hop are better than Turbo in every way. Even Transform is better than Turbo. All these vehicles just kind of struggle. Um, and then next up, I think we have to put the Bull Tank in D tier. And I do think it's a little better than the Paper Star, but the Bull Tank, it's like, it has the same problems as the Battle Chariot. It doesn't get enough off a boost. It struggles when it comes to, well, it's heavy, but it's not like heavy enough to like ram through things like the Battle Chariot and the Rex Wheelie. And like its main problem is that you just don't get enough out of your boost when you're using the Bull Tank, unfortunately. It does have a wide hitbox, but it doesn't really do much for you when you're not heavy enough and you just get smacked around, which is weird because I feel like the Bull Tank should be like really hard to push around because it is one of the heaviest vehicles in the game, but it's just not. Like, you just get bullied in this thing and it sucks. But it is pretty fast on the ground. All these vehicles in D tier, they have like one or two things that make them like playable. I can't say the same for the Chariot. There's like almost no reason to use the Chariot, to be honest with you guys. Um, I think that'll probably round out D tier entirely because I just don't see a world where any of these vehicles above are just that bad. Um, but moving on, let's talk about the Rex Wheelie. I don't know if it's going to end up on the bottom of C tier, but the Rex Wheelie, it's okay. I had it rated as the worst vehicle in my last tier list, but a lot's changed since then. The Rex Wheelie, it can do okay handling because it has the drift mechanic that the wheelies have, and it has a good top speed, and for a heavy vehicle, it has pretty good boost. So, um, the Rex Wheelie can do okay. The problem is everything the Rex Wheelie does, the Bulk Star is just gonna do better, and like the wagon is just gonna do better. So again, Rex Wheelie's not bad. It's just kind of outclassed when it comes to the vehicles in the game, and that's gonna be kind of the theme for C tier here. We're gonna have a lot of vehicles that are just kind of okay, but not really stand out. Let's see here. Vampire Star. Honestly, I hate to do this. I did say we would round out D tier, but I don't know if I can justify putting the Vampire Star above D tier or like above Paper Star. I can't justify putting Vampire above Paper Star and Bull Tank, and that's just because you're relying on other people to like be ahead of you to use its main mechanic. So you're literally relying on losing to win. And I don't think that's a good look. So that's the Vampire Star. But again, playable but not good. Okay. Okay, now there shouldn't be any more for D tier. I know it's a lot of low tier vehicles, but if I'm just being honest, like all these D tier vehicles and below, they're just not that good in the air ride mode. I can't lie to you guys. I've played the air ride mode a lot, so I think I know what I'm talking about now. So, Hop Star is definitely gonna have to be C tier. Let's see. I don't know about Swerve or Slick. I think Swerve belongs up there in C tier. But Hop is like Warp Star, but you can't fly. But you have this thing where you can hop and you can get the land boost, and it's a little faster top speed, so it's okay. But I think the trade-off for that tiny bit of extra ground speed is just not worth it when you can just pick warp, to be honest. And then we have swerve, which is like, again, playable, but you're just going in a straight line. And the problem with swerve is that you need to follow star trails in this game, and when you're going in a straight line and everybody's snaking, you just can't do that. So the swerve star just has a design flaw when it comes to the air ride mode. But again, all these mid-tier vehicles, they're gonna be okay. They're just not gonna be like meta. Um, let's see. And Tank Star recently got a buff. I would say probably like very similar to Rex Wheelie and Hop is where I would put the tank. Swerve is just like fast and it can fly, so I think it's gonna outclass the tank a little bit. The tank can be pretty fast and it can corner really well. So like as a generalist star, it's pretty good. But on its own, on individual tracks, it's not going to be the best on any track, and that's for almost certain. Except for maybe Machine Passage, but Machine Passage is kind of like an oddball track where you have to like be on the ground and turn a lot. But other than that, Tank Star is not going to be the best on any track. It's just going to be like, again, okay. All these vehicles are just kind of okay everywhere. Not really bad. Let's see. Looking down the list here, I don't think I can justify putting most of these vehicles into C tier. Actually, no. I don't think any of these vehicles below here are going to go into C tier. So the rest are going to be upper, high, and top tier. So, here we go. Maybe it would be easiest for me if I just went like top down. So we're going to swap it up a little bit. We're going to go top down for now, and we're going to go with the bulk. The bulk is one of the best vehicles in the game. Definitely the best ground star in the game, I will say. If you put Cappy on this thing, you use your special and you fly ahead of the pack for free. And it's just not fair, and it needs to be nerfed. I can't lie. I don't think the bulk itself is the problem. I think it's Cappy on the bulk. That's the main issue. But even like in the big air ride tournament, Kinix won it using Bulk Rick. So I feel like the bulk is pretty good. So if you guys are wondering what the best generalist star is, it's definitely the bulk. And then we're gonna have wagon again. Wagon is the bulk, wagon. They're both gonna be good on pretty much any character. On the lower characters, you're gonna get great handling. The smaller characters, I mean. And then on the higher tier characters, you're gonna get good top speed. So these vehicles are just good with like anyone on any track. Like they're gonna be good. And they're just a little overtuned, I will say. I don't think they're like super broken, but yeah, they're really good. Um all right, looking down the list here again. Wheelie Scooter is going to be B tier. The Wheelie Scooter has decent speed for a handling vehicle, and on some tracks like Mount Amber Falls, Machine Passage, Beanstalk Park, any tracks you have to turn a lot or like take a really tight corner at the end, this thing's going to excel. But once you get on a stage with a straightaway, good luck, because this thing does not get enough boost, and this thing does not get enough top speed. So it's really a stage dependent vehicle, but at the end of the day, the wheelie scooter has like enough handling and just like being able to do like whatever you want that it pushes it up that extra tier, I will say. Now, honestly, I do see a world where tank like goes up above wheelie scooter. I can't lie to you guys. Honestly, tank is probably better than swerve. So, that's that's how close C and B tier are between tank and wheelie scooter. They're really close. Um, but the wheelie scooter is like already proven, and the tank meta is developing. So I don't want to push the tank too high just yet because I know the tank still has some problems. Like if you get hit when you're cornering on the tank, you just go straight, and there's nothing you can do about it. But the wheelie scooter, that doesn't happen. And a lot of the times, you don't even have to boost on the wheelie scooter. You just mash A around a corner. If you do pick scooter, I like 1000% say play Chef Kawasaki. Do not play any other character on the scooter. Because Chef on the scooter is just like so much better because you end up brake pumping around corners and then you use his like really long pan and it gives him crazy handling, and then he naturally gives it like an extra bit of top speed. So it's really like the killing enemies and getting that extra boost that really makes the difference on the wheelie scooter with Chef. So I would definitely say just like if you're gonna play scooter, play Chef. So let's see what else we got here. Wheelie bike. Probably just a tad lower than the wheelie scooter. If you master this thing, it can be faster than the wheelie scooter. The problem is when you're in a race with a bunch of people and they're all smacking you around, you're not going to be able to hit that perfect turn like you would in a time trial, unfortunately. And you're going to have a lot of situations where you're like wanting to get on a star trail and it's just going to be like that little extra bit difficult because you pick the bike over the scooter, but like the top speed does make enough of a difference to justify picking the bike over the scooter. But at the end of the day, if you're going to play bike or scooter, it's going to be pretty much the same difference most of the time. So it's just pick your poison. Which one do you like better? Which one controls more naturally for you? And which one's more fun to you is what I would say. And then we're going to go Slick right above these two. And Slick wasn't good at first, and I can't lie. The Slick still has issues, like when you fly, you're pretty much on that straight line you're going off of, so you gotta account for that. And if you get hit by a wall in some way that like awkwardly hits you backwards, like super glitchy, then you're sliding like way back because this thing has no traction, which is both a good and a bad thing. On some stages, it makes Slickstar broken, like Frozen Hillside, Siberian Highway. Slickstar can be insane. But when it comes to like being on that top tier level, the Slickstar is just a little too inconsistent for that, and I think we all know that. Like the wheelie scooter, wheelie bike, it's just a thing where like these vehicles are just a little too inconsistent to push them into that top tier level is what I'll say. And then probably coming towards the top of B tier, we're going to have the Transform Star. And the Transform Star, if you master it, it can be crazy. But like you really like have to be like a Transform Star main to get the value out of this thing. And then even when you do, there's going to be times where people hit you and you don't get the swap you want. And you're not going to be able to quick spin when you need to because it's the transform star. Every time you quick spin, you're switching modes, and sometimes you just don't want to quick spin because you don't want to change modes, and that's getting rid of your opportunity to hit an opponent and just boost right past them. So that's what's holding back the transform star and keeping it in the upper tier instead of the high tier. Looking at the rest of these vehicles, they all do something good. The Warp Star is probably going to be the worst out of the high tier vehicles. Warp Star can definitely be good. It could do everything you need it to, and it's kind of the, it's supposed to be the jack of all trade vehicles, but when you really look at the stats and what it does, like, it has above average ground speed. It flies good enough to, like, make the shortcuts and stuff. You're just going to have to spend more time on the ground than you are in the air if you're playing Warp. And then, like, take those air shortcuts strategically. Because when you're in the air, you're, like, slightly slower on Warp, but not, like, that much. But the Warp is basically like, oh, do I want to play a vehicle that can do everything and do it well enough? There you go. You got the Warp Star. Just a little bit above average at pretty much everything. And then the rest of these vehicles, the Wing, Formula, Jet, Rocket, they're all gonna, like, excel at something. But the problem is they are stage dependent, so you have to put them all on the same tier, basically. So at the top, we are going to probably have Rocket, then Winged, and then I would say Formula, then Jet, in that order. So Rocket, it goes crazy fast off rails, and you get boosts from hitting enemies and opponents. So Rocket's not going to, like, do the best on every stage because there's going to be some times where you're not going to be able to get that full charge boost and the stage is just keeping you from getting it and you're just going really slow the whole time. And then it also kind of struggles to corner, which sucks. But there's plenty of stages where the Rocket is just objectively the best vehicle to use in the game. And same thing for the Wing. The Wing, it's like, it's the flyer vehicle, and on pretty much any flyer map, except for, like, maybe Celestial Valley and Magma Flows, you're going to want to pick the Wing. Because the Wing is just so fast in the air. You get to spend pretty much as much time in the air as you like. And it corners okay. It corners even better in the air. I would recommend using, like, a smaller character like Starman or a Meta Knight, somebody that can corner easily. Because once you get into those heavier characters, first off, you're not going to be able to fly as high. And then second, you're not going to be able to corner as well. So definitely use a smaller character on this thing. But Winged is probably the vehicle with the most stages that it is objectively the best vehicle to use. So that's why Winged is up here. The problem is there's also the flip side, where the Winged will be the objectively worst vehicle to use. So it's kind of like you're rolling a dice, basically, when you're picking the Wing. And kind of the same thing with Formula. If you get Nebula Belt, you win. If you get Galactic Nova, you win. There's plenty of stages it's okay on. Every Rocket Star stage it does pretty good on. So the formula can be good. it can struggle to corner, but if you master brake pumping in the Formula Star, you can get a lot of value out of it because it's not too difficult to handle. The problem is it just speeds up really slow. Um, but yeah, if you have to take a lot of turns, that's when the formula is going to struggle. And then again, it's not a flyer. So sometimes there's going to be stages where flyers just beat you. And then we have the Jet Star, which is the Wing Star's little twin brother. And the Jet Star could be insane on like Celestial Valley Magma Flows. You should definitely pick Jet. Um, Sometimes you can put it on stages that the Wing Star is on, and it'll do just fine. Like it'll keep up with it. Um, but if you have to stay in the air for like a long time, you're gonna want to pick Winged. But if you just need to be in the air for a little bit and go like really fast, then Jet is what's going to excel at that because every time it leaves the ground, it gets a little boost. And then it also charges its boost fast. So when you hit the ground, you get another boost. So the Jet Star can be pretty good. And it also has good handling. It pretty much has like the handling of the Paver Star, except it doesn't have the downside of it's not that fast in the air because the Jet is the fastest vehicle in the air, actually. So there you have it, guys. This is my new tier list for the air ride mode vehicles. And I think it's a lot more accurate this time. Last time I did it, it was just kind of like first impressions of the game. But I wanted to give you guys like a more updated and like accurate tier list. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of good vehicles, there's a lot of bad vehicles, and then there's the bulk and wagon and the chariot, which are just on completely different levels. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this insight into the viability of the vehicles in this game. I would not pick anything under D tier as your main unless you're Nebula and you're using the Paper Star, then that's valid. But anything else, I would not recommend. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.